In this video, I'm going to run through creating a custom line type. I created my first one based on a request from a coworker, and I found some pretty good solutions on the web, so I'll run through that as well. And then I'll run through another example just based off what we can find on the drawings, trying to create something that looks similar to what you'd find on the drawings, just in case you want to replicate that for your business as well. So I have some test drawings here. The first request that I got from my coworker was he's seen on some drawings before an indication for an aerial line, like a power line run. When we do site surveys or something like that, that could be a helpful thing to see. So this guy in particular has had some experience with Bluebeam, and he likes to mess around with stuff, and he's seen that over here on the included line styles from Bluebeam, there's one for gas, and that's a nice line right there. That looks clean and professional, and you can scale it to however long this line needs to be. And alternatively, if for instance this guy said, hey, I want an aerial line run, but the only way I know how to do it is to type in the letters as a text box and then copy those over the line, and that can work. But if you're doing a bunch of surveys, obviously you want the most efficient way to do that. So we looked into it together and we created one, so I'm going to run through that real quick. So the first thing that I did actually was try to Google a solution. So if you look up Bluebeam Revu line styles, I just typed it before filming this, so the first thing that comes up is from Bluebeam, so that's a great place to start, and it'll walk you through it. If you like to learn this way, that's good. I would recommend that, actually. Why do more guesswork than you need to if the solution's already there? But for this demonstration, I will run through it. So the first thing you need to do when you're creating a new line type is to create a new line set. And in Revu 2018, which is the version that I'm using, you have this list here. So if I scroll up with my mouse, it's going to give me the opportunity to manage my line styles. So I have some that I've customized for my company, but what we want to do is create one for you. So I'm going to add a line style set. I'm going to make it new, and I'm going to give it a name. This is going to be test 1. And if you want it in a specific location, it defaults to wherever it's kept on your computer based on where Bluebeam's installed. Did not do that right. So that's the path on my computer. If I go there, you can see advanced and Combs custom lines, the ones that I built for my company. So that's where it'd be kept. If you copy that into Windows Explorer, then you can see all the other things that Bluebeam has installed and stuff that you can edit later on with whatever you're doing. So we're going to give it test 1. We're going to save it right here for future reference. That's all great. Press OK. That's going to bring you into editing the line style set and give you a list of line styles that you have. Right now, it's a new line style set, so we don't have any. So what we want to do is add. It'll ask you for a name. This is going to be an aerial line, so I'm just going to do AER. Actually, no. You know what? Let's be professional. Okay, line style editor. What are we looking at? Here in properties, you can mess with the name. If I want to make that longer or shorter, give it a description if you need to. If you give it a good name, maybe you don't need a description, but that's all options here. And then you're dealing with lines. So right here, it's starting you out with a line. Down here, these are edits you can make to this line. So I want this line to look like this, but with AER instead of GAS, right? So I'm going to add a component to this line. Choose component type. I want to make it a dash. So this is essentially going to erase part of this line, right? It's going to make it look like a dashed line. So that's good. We want that. We also want some text though. So I'm going to add that. That's available in your drop-down list. Press OK, so it gives you a dash and some text. This is a preview of how the line will show up on your page. And then for the text, you just edit right here. So AER, make it all caps. That's what it looks like. You can mess with the font if you need to, and the font size, bold, italics, all that fun stuff. I know from experience that the text that shows up best is about 12-point font. That sounds right, right? From Microsoft Word, and everything's just default 12. So we're gonna go ahead and make that 12 here. It's gonna look really large here, but if I go in here and start to mess with the dash part of the line, I want to increase that width to make it look more like the gas line here. So I'm just going to keep pressing up till it looks about how I want it to look. So that looks kind of nice. So now we have text and all those edits, and then a dash and all of those edits. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to try that out. Press OK. You can always edit this later. So you've got a line type, no, line style here, the title of your line style set there. So I'm going to press OK. It's going to load it into my line style sets, and I'm going to press OK again. So now I'm going to press L on my keyboard shortcut for line, and now I'm going to select from my drop down list the line style that I just created, Arial. So click once, click twice. All right, so that text is larger than this gas line here, but if I zoom out and I'm on a site plan, that's a little more legible than the gas line is right there. And you can see it's kind of, well, that's not a good example. It's about the same text size as other things. You can see future portable right there, and that text size is about the same. So I like that. I'm going to stick with that. I'll show you if you wanted to change it. If you have that selected, actually, yeah, if you have that selected, go back up here to manage. You can select the one you want to modify, and it'll jump you back in, and we're right back where we started. You know, select the dash, make it smaller, larger, anything like that. Same with the text. Okay, so one other example I wanted to do. Let's say that I want to be able to draw a wall as a line. So, you know, if you're out in the field and you want to draw a line, you can, you know, just draw a rectangle to represent that. But, you know, let's say, hey, you're doing this in front of a client, you want to look good, so I want to create a line style that looks like this wall right here. So I'm going to run through those steps again. I'm going to give it, you know, that's just my reference line to make to the jump to line style sets. Go back to manage. I want to add it to this same line style set. So I'm going to go to modify, and I'm going to create a new line style. I'm going to call this interior wall. Press OK. All right, starts you off with one line. I know that my wall looks like a bold line, something in the middle, and then another bold line. So I'm going to add another line to my set here. And then I know that this is one element, two elements. There's kind of three elements to this wall. So I'm going to add another one, and then I'm going to edit the one in the middle. So I'm going to give it a component, and I'm going to try vector. Press OK. It's going to open up this little edit box. You have the option to do an arc, a circle, or a line, and then give it some left and right padding, scale, all this fun stuff. So just to try this out, if I was to draw a line straight down the middle here, it looks like this is kind of like an X, and the X crosses below this center point. So I'm going to try just that. Start right down here, cross below the center point, and this is all based on guesswork. I don't exactly know how this is going to show up, but that looks about like that X right there. So here you can see a preview. That does not look like what a wall would look like on a drawing, right? So what I want to do is click that top line, and I'm going to mess with the offset some. So if you press the up arrow, it looks like it's offsetting in the wrong direction that I want it to be. So I'm going to go down, push it all the way up to the top of that border, and then I'm going to select my bottom line and do the opposite, right? So that's about what we want to see. I like it a little more spaced out. You know, I'm a perfectionist, so I'm going to try to get it to look exactly like that. So I'm going to click on vector again, and here I'm going to give it some left and right padding. So you can see right here, this gray border is going to get smaller if I give it more padding. And I want it to be smaller on both sides so that, I don't know, I just like it that way. So I'm going to increase the padding on the other side. So now this is looking more similar to what we want to see end up on the line. I'm going to give it some more padding. We'll leave it at 9 for now and see how that looks. So I'll press OK. Press OK again. Now we have two line styles inside of our line style set. Press OK and OK. So now I'm going to edit this line that I've already created up here on my list. You can see it loads it in at the bottom. Alright, so now if I want to draw a new room, or if I want to divide a room, all I gotta do is draw a line. I'll hold down the shift to keep it horizontal or vertical. Snap it to those dimensions, directions rather, and there we go. And that's how you do it. So now let's say you're happy with your line styles and you want to get those out to your team. How do you do that? So I'm going to go back into Manage, and you notice in the very beginning when it opens up the Manage Line Style Sets dialog box, you have the option to import and export. So I want to export this into a file that I can use to send to my team. So I'm just going to export it to my desktop. It's going to save it as a Bluebeam line style set. That sounds good, right? So press OK. So now I'm going to go into my desktop folder. I'll just drag that over for you guys. And here we got it. Bluebeam Revu line style set test 1. So I'm a new user. I come into your company. I open up Bluebeam for the first time. I don't have those line style sets loaded up on my computer because I'm a new user. Maybe I just bought the laptop. Who knows? So I want to get there, and so I have my drawings here, and I want those line styles that you created. What I want to do they're no longer listed at the bottom of my list. So what I want to do is go into Manage and pretend that wasn't there. I'm going to import those from wherever I received them. Test 1 right there. Boom, shows up. Okay. Now if I go to my list, there they display at the bottom. So customize away.